Hey, I'm Hunt, and this is Hunt on LSU, your channel for LSU Fighting Tiger football talk. Enjoy the video. We want you to leave a comment below, hit that like button, and subscribe right below the video. Enjoy. All right, LSU and Vanderbilt tomorrow. I got asked in the hallway this morning what time the game was, and I went, I don't remember. There are so many game times rattling around in my brain that I don't even know what time LSU and Vanderbilt play. 6:45 is the scheduled time. It's actually going to kick off at 6:55. Just a little hint for those of you out there. It's going to be a night game inside Tiger Stadium. I don't know that the environment's going to be awesome, but I was really interested in the stat sheet with Vanderbilt. And every Monday, I take all the statistics and I put them down in front of me, and I go through and I mark the positives for a team and I mark the negatives for a team. And I don't recall in doing that seeing an identity so pronounced in a team as I do with Vanderbilt. They've only got one way to get this done. And we talked to Andrew Allegretti yesterday, and he alluded to it, but didn't put any statistics behind it. He just kind of gave a sense of what Vanderbilt's identity is. What I'm about to read off to you does not at all sound like a team that beat Alabama, that beat Virginia Tech, that controlled Kentucky, that played right up to the whistle with Texas. I mean, this is not like every once in a while or one time they came out with a great performance. They do this every week. South Carolina handed it to them. Georgia State got after them too. But the majority of the time, Vanderbilt's really competitive. And they're really competitive with these numbers on offense. 11th, this is of the 16-team SEC. 11th in scoring offense. 15th in total offense. They're the second worst total offense in the conference. 13th in rushing. 15th in yards per carry. You think of Vanderbilt, they run the ball really well. They're 15th in yards per carry. That's awful. There's only one team worse. Explosive runs. 14th. Well, how about the passing offense? 14th. Passing attempts, they don't even try. 16th. Explosive passes, 15th. Yards per play. They don't run very many plays, so maybe their yards per play is better because there's not as many plays. No, they're 14th in the league. All these numbers are bottom 4, 5, or 6 in the league, except for 3. There are 3 numbers of note with Vanderbilt. On third down, they are 3rd in the league. Time of possession, which makes sense, 3rd in the league. Because if you convert a lot of third downs, you keep the football, you control time of possession. And then you've got to get into the red zone, and they're 5th in the league, which is not jaw-dropping, but it's efficient. That's Vanderbilt's only ticket here. All they can do is try to run it, get it into 3rd and 1, maybe a 4th and 1 here or there, trust Diego Pavia to make a play, and hope they keep the ball. They don't make explosives. They don't fool people with big plays down the field. They're not an efficient running game. They're 13th in the league in rushing offense and almost last in yards per carry. But they stick to what they do. And what they do is run that triple option-based run game, trust Pavia to do a little schoolyard stuff, and then make sure he doesn't turn it over and get points in the red zone. And they've done a really good job of that. Y'all remember the Alabama game? They held the ball for 40 minutes. If they couldn't convert a 3rd and 3, they went for it on 4th down. And Vanderbilt's got nothing to lose. They're at this point riding an emotional high. They're going to come into Tiger Stadium, one of the biggest venues in the whole sport. They're not going to play scared. 4th and 2, who cares if we don't get it? We'll go for that. Got a quarterback who knows what he's doing back there. But it's the only way they can do it. It doesn't look good on paper at all. Well, how's the defense then? Is that great? Clark Lee, defensive coach, defensive coordinator of the team, how's he done? Well, in scoring defense in the SEC, they're 11th. Total defense, they're 12th. Rushing defense, middle of the pack, 8th. Yards per carry allowed, 12th. Not good. Pass defense, 12th. Opposing completion percentage, how well teams complete passes against them, 15th. Are they any good on third down? No, 15th. Do they get a lot of sacks? No, 10th. TFLs? No, 9th. Do they give up explosive plays? Yes. They're 14th in the league. Give up explosive passes, 20 yards plus, 15th in the league. Do they stop teams in the red zone? Is that how they do it? No, they don't. 14th in the league in red zone touchdown percentage. Did they force a bunch of turnovers? No. They're 12th in the league. None of these numbers are any good. That's why when I was talking to Andrew Allegretti yesterday, I said the defense appears to me to be better than the sum of its parts because statistically, I don't see a lot here. And I don't know of any Vanderbilt players that are going in the first or second round on defense. What are they good at on defense? Well, this is not defense. It's offense and defense. They're the least penalized team in the SEC, 5.4 per game. This is not a Vanderbilt team that does anything to hurt you. They're just steady. And my question is LSU ready at this point to show up, to create some energy, to run the ball, to be explosive in the passing game, which everyone else is against Vanderbilt, to score points in the red zone, and take care of a team that you have more talent than? Or do you let a team that's riding on an emotional high, that is reaching levels that they did not imagine they could have reached in August, that brings the fight to you, that dictates the control of the game, that handles the ball for 38 or 40 minutes, that sucks the life out of you, and that beats you? Because let me tell you, if LSU doesn't show up with a lot of emotion tomorrow, there is nothing that takes that tiny bit of emotion away more quickly than Vanderbilt going on a 16-play drive, running a bunch of triple option stuff, gaining 4 yards a pop. That'll bore the crowd. That'll frustrate the crowd. That'll bore the defense. It'll frustrate the defense. And if you let Vanderbilt play their game, that's a scary thought. It's a scary thought. There are times where you might want a rival coming in here or a team that grabs some headlines coming here to create a little bit of juice. Vanderbilt is the freaking opposite. They've been the punching bag of this league for decades. And the players know that on LSU's side. But they may be a punching bag, but they're going to be an angry one tomorrow. They're going to be a fired up one tomorrow. LSU's got to meet that fight. And I sensed a team that was really disheartened on Tuesday. I don't think yesterday's stuff helped. They better find something because this is the type of team that can lull you to sleep. I've talked a lot about, or I've heard Gordy Rush talk a lot about going to play at Northwestern when he was in the Big Ten. And I've heard people talk about going to play at Vanderbilt in not a year like this, in a different year, where it's just a sleepy environment. And that can be startling. And I wonder if this is like the perfect storm that LSU is trying to deal with of a program in a malaise over the last month, a team that's lost all its goals, and then the team that is nobody's better at lulling you to sleep than Vanderbilt. Maybe Diego Pavia creating one of these exciting, explosive situations is the most juice that they can bring. Maybe the gold uniforms that LSU is going to wear are going to bring the juice. But somebody's got to create that. And maybe just LSU making a couple of big plays early can do that. I mean, I'm rattling off a bunch of statistics there, but I'll go back to the one that matters there. Like, only one team in the conference gives up more passes of 20 yards than Vanderbilt does. And oh, by the way, Vanderbilt is really good at time of possession, so teams are running fewer plays against them, and they still give up that many explosives. I commend Clark Lee for his coaching job and his ability to get a team that has statistically been bad, and then on Saturday consistently being not bad. And you look at the way they played Alabama, the way they played Texas, the way they played Virginia Tech, the way they played Kentucky, the way they played Auburn, the way they played Missouri. They're in games every week. The only team to take it to them in the league has been South Carolina. I can see a world where LSU does that tomorrow, where Vanderbilt just has trouble dealing with Will Campbell and Caden Durham, where they have trouble dealing with Kyron Lacey, where Braden Swinson becomes a real issue for them. I can see that world. I can see a world where Vanderbilt jumps out 14-0, and that stadium gets real antsy and starts raining down boos and people leave. Like, I could see just about anything tomorrow. And I'll tell you how I'm approaching this game. And this is a personal thing, certainly not a suggestion of any kind. This is a personal thing. Y'all know, like, when I walk into that stadium, like, my heart's beating. And when LSU's in a close game like they were with Ole Miss this year, like, I can barely feel my legs. Those emotions won't be there tomorrow for me. I'm so fired up for the weather tomorrow to put on a jacket and to do pregame show right outside the stadium. And I'll be excited to get in the stadium because I just always am, even if it's a non-conference game. But my heart rate's not going to be elevated for this thing tomorrow. And that's just me personally. I'm looking forward to hopefully watching the team play well and win the game because they just haven't done that in a month and a half. But if the players feel the same way I do, I think it could be a problem. And I'm never one of those guys that says, oh, quit talking about that game down the road. The players need to focus. Well, my job's not to be in the locker room and focus. My job's to talk about the big picture here. And I'm just telling you how I'm going to feel. But I'm curious if that's the way that the players will feel. I know how the fan base feels. I deal with the fan base every day. Twitter, Bayou Ford chat, text messages, phone calls, all that. Conversations at the water cooler here. I know how the fans feel. That's not super cool. I'm just curious how the players respond. It's going to be fascinating to see the effort and energy level tomorrow inside Tiger Stadium for LSU and Vanderbilt. Beck, you got a thumbnail on that? I'm going to give my pick at the end of the game. But like, either you can talk about whatever you want. Either the fact that Vanderbilt's statistics are jaw-droppingly terrible for a team that's competitive every week, or the energy that LSU needs to provide tomorrow.
Man, I do worry about the energy in the crowd in the stadium for the team. I know that, like, we heard at player interviews, Will Campbell saying there's still a lot to play for. I wonder if the team really believes that. Like, I'm not worried about the guys wanting to win the game, but I just wonder if they're really going to be super motivated to go play Vanderbilt when they're 6-4 and they're staring down the barrel of a 6-7 win season and go into the Pop-Tart Bowl or something like that. Like, I just really don't know. Obviously, we won't know until it happens, but I just worry about it.
It's all about perspective because Vanderbilt's record's worse than LSU, or the same as LSU's, and they're like sky high.
Yes.
And South Carolina's not playing for the playoff, and they're sky high.
Yep.
But LSU 3 weeks ago was talking about winning a national championship, and now you're like, can they focus on Vanderbilt?
Yeah.
It's just it's just shocking how fast this can happen.
It is.
But here we are. So we'll see how things shake out inside Tiger Stadium. My pick for LSU and Vanderbilt coming up in about 25 minutes from right now. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.